All right, girl, guy, listen, okay? So, first of all, I wanted to basically come on here to tell y'all, okay, I was fabric shopping the other week, a couple of weeks ago. Not actually, it was a couple of weeks ago. I'm lying. It was last week. Was it last week or 2 weeks ago? I don't remember what the time was. But listen, I was out and about in the Garment District and I came across these feathers. This ostrich feathers. Now, I've seen this years ago, but I didn't know what I was gonna do with it. But if you follow me on Instagram, you saw in my stories that I shared this feathers in multiple colors. And this feather has like a stripe dyed design on it, and I absolutely love it. So I ended up getting 2 pieces of it because, you know, my half scale dress form is gonna look, you know, over the top when I create something out of it. But I wanted a fabric to go along with it. So I said, you know, let me go look around and see any fabric that can kind of inspire me to come up with something while I have these. And I came across this humongous jumbo print with the colors. It's a floral print. I guess the fabric is called McCarty. And listen, I'm obsessed. And for some reason, I feel like this fabric is calling me to create volume, okay? Volume, big, voo, va, va, boom type of style. So I don't know if you guys was able to see or catch the couture show. I, for one, am not interested in watching fashion shows these days, and the couture are starting to lose lackluster. They're starting to look very ready to wear and regurgitated. You know what I'm saying? It's starting to lose the fantasy of things, and I think it's because the people don't really care too much anymore these days. I saw a couple of shows that I did like, and one of the shows that I did like was the Valentino show. I love Valentino, always have and always will. Love Valentino, and I like who they picked right now to direct and design for the house. So looking at some of the gowns that they designed, they're big and voluptuous, and this fabric just reminded me of that. So I really want to create a design that has like a bubble hem gown, you know. And I don't know, I'm still thinking about the top, so I think I'm gonna start off with the bottom first and then work around what I want the top to look like as well. And I think I'm gonna go ahead and design a second design to go along with this and use the feathers to incorporate it, because I really love these feathers, okay? I really, really, really love these feathers, honey, okay? Oh, and one last thing. They had these gorgeous, I mean phenomenally designed, gorgeous hats made of ostrich. And to me, the shape of the hat looked like jellyfish. I mean, it was literally like this. Like the hat was huge, like this, okay? And then the tail end of the hat kind of fluttered. Let me see if I can try to get the idea. But I mean, I can't really do the idea with these ostrich feathers. But let me tell you, it was full as the model was walking down the runway, like, you know, floating in the air, okay? You had to be that woman who can pull a hat off like that. So kudos to the designer who they worked with to create those hats. I don't think Valentino per se probably made them, but who knows? The hats, look at me, and that's what I'm looking for, like something innovative. Like you can take the idea of a jellyfish and turn it into a hat. I mean, girl, you gotta be that woman to come down there the street fluttering, okay? You couldn't tell me nothing, okay? All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and freehand a A-line quarter circle skirt, and I'm gonna also do a full circle skirt. I already have a full circle skirt pattern already, but I'm gonna redo it and adjust the one I had previously just to accommodate for the skirt style that I want, and that is the bubble hem. So what you want to do here, okay, this is my, you know, half scale dress form girl, all right? And if you have a full body, just follow along of what I'm doing, and then you can transfer onto your dress form. It's as simple as that. Basically, from the center front of your dress form, you want to place your measuring tape there and all the way to the back of your center back line of your dress form. So that is the measurement you're going to be working with. I'm going to be working with just half of the waistline. So my waistline on this dress form is about 6.5. Half of that is going to be 3 inches and a quarter. So I'm going to use that to create the quarter skirt. So let's go ahead and do that now. Okay, so here's my muslin, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold my muslin in a 45-degree angle like this. Okay, so what I'm going to do is going to start from the top right here, and I'm going to come down 3 inches, 3 1/4 of an inch from the point. And then I'm going to place my mark there. I'm going to do that same on the other side as well. And my marks are there. Then I'm going to take my hip curve ruler. And then I'm going to curve it just like that, right on here. Point to point. Then from there, I'm going to add in 1/4 of an inch. If using a regular dress size dress form, you know it's a 1/2 inch standard. And depending on the style, you can go higher than that depending on what you're using it for. But for me, I'm going to go 1/4 of an inch because I am using a half scale. Okay, and you should have something like this. Now, from here, your waistline is where you're going to mark how long your skirt is going to be. Now, I want it to have, I want it to be a maxi type of A-line quarter skirt, so I'm gonna come down 22 inches. Oh, this is 21. And then from, you just want to make sure that it's 21 all the way around. So you just mark from that waistline the radius or the circumference. So once you have that drawn in, you just go ahead and just use your curve or hip curve ruler just to shape it. Just go ahead and cut it out. Now you can add 1/2 inch seam allowance before cutting it out, but for me, I'm not going to do that because this part is going to be basically the length that I want, because I want the lining to be a little bit shorter than the outer shell. And then cut off the waist right here. And let's check out our new pattern. So this is going to be the lining, and then the skirt is going to hit the bottom. I'm going to create a circle skirt version of this that would be longer at the bottom, so that when I connect it, it's going to be bubbly at the hem. Okay, so here's my muslin. So what I'm gonna do now is fold it down along the selvage. Down the selvage, so that way you can get a full circle and the largest part of your circle. So here's my circle skirt already. I already had it from the last tutorial. I'll link that up before to show you what I did with that. And I adjusted it to match the quarter skirt. And as you can see, the circle. I want to bring this down further. I want to make it longer, about like 3 inches longer. So this is my new circle skirt. So now I'm going to gather the bottom of the circle skirt at the hem. So let me just run this in a machine with a loose stitch. I'm going to just gather it up by pulling the thread from the stitch. I gathered the hem of the skirt, which is forming a bubble, as you can see. And this is the under layer, which is going to be the lining of the skirt, the quarter skirt pattern right here. So I'm going to do is just match it up with the front. So once you have connected it to the lining, all you have to do is just stitch it down a 1/2 inch. And then you have to do is just get it inside out. So this is what the bottom bubble hem look like. I might take the lining down further so I can really emphasize the bubble hem. So since this is like, I might take it down another 2 inches and connect it to make it really bubbly. But so far so good, love it. Now let's get going to the top. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and just place my draping tape. This is what it is, a draping tape. I'm gonna place my tape along the neckline to design for the design that I want, and then I'm gonna start draping. Now all I'm doing is placing my center front line against the center front line of the dress form right here. And I'm just going to pin it to secure it, and then start draping for each panel. If you have the ease, just go ahead and just cut into the muslin to ease it into the space. So now that I have my panels drawn out, all I gotta do is just adjust them, neat them up, and then add seam allowance. So now I'm gonna pin all my patterns together so I can test it on the dress form. This is what you do for your actual size dress form as well, so it's no difference. Okay, so this looks good so far. I'm liking the way it fits. So now I'm gonna be draping the outer bodice right on top of this. So what I'm gonna do is now drape the front portion of this bodice only and not the back. So now I'm gonna create a pleat because I want the front of the bodice to, the upper part of the bodice to be puffed. So I'm gonna pleat it all the way to the top, but I'm gonna stop underneath the bust line. This is basically what it looks like. So now all this excess fabric here is supposed to be gathered into the neckline. Okay, so it's a bit much, so I'm going to take off a little bit at the top. For me, I'm going to take off my ½ inch, which is equivalent to an inch depending on how much fabric you took. And this will be gathered into the neckline. So I'm going to go ahead and draw the neckline here. And then once you are satisfied with the look, all you have to do is just mark the bodice. Mark your pleat placement. So let me go ahead and make the corrections and then show you the final. And then you'll end up with something like this. So now I'm going to cut my skirt lining out of this fabric. This is, it looks like China silk, but it's very stiff. So I'm going to go ahead and cut it out on here, and I'm going to fold my fabric along the selvage so I can get the full coverage that I need. Cut the skirt on the fold. That I'm going to cut 2 inches additional to the bottom of this. So I'm going to do the same thing I did to the bottom hem of the muslin drape. I'm going to go ahead and gather the entire hem to fit it into the lining. So I went ahead and gathered my skirt, the bottom hem. I'm gonna put the bodices together. So here is the front bodice of the outer shell, and I went ahead and pressed it down, stitched the dart down into place, okay, and then I also put the lining together. Now if you have a bodice, you want to go ahead and put bones to give it structure so that way it can stay up. I don't have any miniature bones to show you how to do that, but all you have to do is look for the flat ones that are bendable, and then you just place it right here and top stitch it on top of the seam allowance. Or you can create a casing and place the bones inside the casing as well. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and connect the lining to the skirt, okay? And then I'm also going to connect the bodice of the outer shell to the skirt as well for the bow. So this is what the bodice looks like, the lining, and then I went ahead and put this together so you can see. And I went ahead and closed the center back of the dress and added my zipper to the back of the dress as well. So I'm going to start with the neckline first and the center back. So I place the lining at the center of the front of the bodice of the outer shell, and all I'm going to do is just match this up and pin, and pin over here. Up to here I'm going to pin, leaving about a ½ inch before the side seam, and then I'm going to go ahead and gather this up so I can fit it into this neckline. So I gathered it. Gather it into the neckline. Alright guys, so I stitched the bottom, and I left an opening in the lining so that way I can flip around the dress. So this is basically the inside of it. I'm going to flip it inside out right now. Let me cut this thread. That's just I don't want my insides to look too messy. You know, you always want to have a nice inside. Some people, they don't think that's important, but the higher the quality of the garment, the more time they take to make sure that the inside of the garment is also well made and cleaned. You know what I'm saying? So this is the inside that's connected to. So I'm gonna go ahead and close the inside, which is the lining at the center back of the gown. The lining at the center back of the gown is kind of open and slit. So I'm gonna do is just, you know, connect it down and then close the hole that's in the back here. But that's basically it. So after that, I'm gonna go ahead and put it on the dress form so we can see how everything came out. Girl, God, she's a beauty, don't you think? Okay, so I think I'm gonna put like a jewel, something rhinestoney around the waist. I was thinking about putting it like right here or right here. I don't know, I'm not sure yet. But so far, this looks bomb. I love the little poof, the little puff in the bust cup area. This reminds me of like a plume of the flowers in the background. You get what I mean? You get what I mean? Okay, so I have a bracelet that I bought the other day, and it kind of looks pretty for me. I think I'm gonna use it as a waistband on the gown. It's like a rhinestone green rhinestone bracelet. It's kind of like very stretchy and adjustable. So I'm gonna put it at the waistline just to see, you know, if it needs something or not. It does look kind of pretty, so I'm gonna leave it here for now until I decide if I want to really doll it up with some jewels. So I also want to come here and also tell you guys, I want to give a shout out to someone on the channel who left a comment about my name on Instagram. And at first, this commenter mentioned to me that I should change my name to House of Tabois. And at first I was like, I don't know, girl, this might be too cheesy. But after I kept on saying it, it just grew on me. I mean, it sounds so elegant, like House of Tabois, you know? Isn't it classy, elegant, upscale? Yes. So I decided to go with it. So my name on Instagram now is House of Tabois, and I think it's a good name because it's gonna house everything that I've done so far, and you can find everything through there, and then you can go to my other channels as well. So, I mean, it's a given. So shout out to you. Thank you so much for recommending that. So I appreciate it. Lastly, let me know what you think about these talkative type interactive videos, because I feel like it makes my videos longer. But if you guys like it, I'll continue to do it this format way. I mean, I do prefer to be silent and not say nothing, but I think it kind of loses personality because of that. So just let me know how you like this version, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.